Welcome back. You're watching Morning Live. Thank you for choosing to stay with us. Now, on Wednesday, Cabinet released a statement pronouncing on the implementation of several government programs. One of them was the approval of the Black Industrialist Policy, which is part of the Department of Trade and Industry's Industrial Policy Action Plan called IPAP. This policy is in line with the National Development Plan and the 9-point plan announced by President Zuma in the 2015 State of the Nation address. I'm now joined by Mzwandile Masina, who's the Deputy Minister in the DTI. So thank you very much for joining us this morning. And maybe let's start with addressing the issue around the policy, because it hasn't really been publicly announced by the Minister. What will the impact of this announcement be?
Well, this is a major breakthrough for South Africa. You'll remember that in 2014, when we were going through the elections, the ANC manifesto promised South Africans the second phase of the transition, which is going to be characterized by radical socio-economic transformation. So we're basically beginning to see practical implementation. So we needed a government-wide policy to be able to take along South Africans to ensure that we bring about the change that we promise as the ruling party.
One of the things, and I think a lot of people will come to grips with this, is issues around the BIP. Where will it add value?
Well, it will add value mainly in the manufacturing space as a whole. But I think that there are other areas, like if you look into infrastructure space and the build program, there's a number of opportunities that can be created there. But we want to spend more time also encouraging our people to be innovative, to come up with new products that are going to contribute to the manufacturing in South Africa, because we've seen a very low participation, in particular by black people, in the manufacturing space. So we think that time has arrived for us to innovate and come up with new products that are going to propel our economy to greater heights, now that the commodity prices are lower and so on. We have the commodity in South Africa for many years to come, but we need to do certain things differently, including beneficiation of our own minerals.
In terms of time frames, this is from the announcement that the President made in roughly around February to where we now, it's about 9 to 10 months. How do we fast track this and not now get caught in red tape and issues around policies? Well,
the important thing is that we needed to have a national policy, because I will tell you why. For instance, very soon we'll be calling a joint MINMEC with the Minister and all the ministers of the economy in South Africa, as well as the provincial ministers, as well as the MMCs of the metros, would come together to discuss this. You will imagine parties like DA, they speak about freedom, opportunity for all. So we guess would want them now to comply with the government policy to ensure that we work together. If you look into the EFF manifesto, they speak about in their 7 cardinal, 5 of the cardinal 5 speaks about massive industrial development. So we think that politically and ideologically we do agree even with the opposition. Now it's time for us to pull together resources of the state and stop grandstanding in parliament and ensure that we move with speed to ensure that we bring about transformation of the economy in South Africa. Our people have been waiting for far too long. Time has come now that we tamper fundamentally with the structure of the economy. We've been tinkering with it, not much has happened, and I think that we've been lamenting about what is happening in the JSE, 3% owned by black. We want to see more, and industrialists are the ones who can assist us to ensure that we bring about the change that we require in South Africa.
When we talk about bringing about that change very quickly, how much of that conversation will be focused at industrialists who have been kind of flying, for lack of a better description, under the radar?
Well, we have to assist and ramp up those initiatives. We are not really looking for something new. We're looking for those that have been in the space who have not received proper support from government. We are putting together financial and non-financial packages that are going to assist these industrialists to ensure that we're able to move forward. And we think that the work that has been done, and we must commend President and the Cabinet, in particular my Minister, Minister Rob, for having led us to this point, because this is going to fundamentally change how we've always done things in South Africa.
One of the other big talking points is, or the buzzwords, is mentorship. You're focusing at black industrialists who've been flying under the radar, who hasn't had the support. But how do we also transform the industry to make sure that it opens up itself to young industrialists, people that have vision, that not have had the correct guidance?
Look, we need to ensure that many young people and women are participating in this program, because they form a very important demographic of our country. So it is very important that we ensure that they are included. But we are not just going to include you because you are young, you are a woman. You must bring something innovative, something new, something that is worth of the government. Government is going to be spending billions of rands. I think when the minister is making a pronouncement on the overall program, including how we are going to roll it out in the next month or two, we are going to ensure that we bring out all those details so that all South Africans can be able to participate. I must just state that this is not a rhetoric from the ANC. No, this is just another crony scheme that is meant for few individuals. This is meant for South Africans who are serious, who want to ensure that we fundamentally transform our economy for better in a sustainable way. And we want entrepreneurs who are into this game for long, but also who are going to produce results for our economy.
I want to ask you one question, and I think we're almost close to the end of this interview. We'll throw it at the end. But I just want to ask about being aggressive enough in relation to job creation, because at the end of the day, it is about growing the economy and making sure that ordinary South Africans can benefit from these policies.
Well, there are national imperatives, and we're not doing this because we're bored as government. We're doing this because we want these industrialists to contribute. You know, the level of unemployment in South Africa is unacceptably high, and we think the skills base, something can be done around it. That is why we have a number of partnerships, including with the Department of Higher Education, where we're doing a number of skills program in South Africa to ensure that those that are unemployed and unemployable, they have an opportunity when those opportunities are made available, even by firms. So we are rolling out a massive artisan training program in partnership with the Department of Higher Education to bring about change in South Africa. And we think that these initiatives like this must contribute to the national program to ensure that we deal with unemployment, poverty, and inequality that continue to persist.
One of the other big issues, which is our top story this morning, is the issues related to our Goer and the deadline that's been issued by the US government related to poultry and stock. Maybe just a reaction from you in terms of that delay, and Americans saying that it's taken nearly a year for the South African government to respond and it's been inadequate.
Well, negotiations by their very own nature, they are very complicated. There are many things that we must consider. Firstly, the national interests come first. And secondly, when you negotiate, you don't go there to sell your soul. So we needed to make sure that our negotiators, they give feedback to us as political leadership. But equally, we have to give a feedback to the entire cabinet. So it's a whole process. Even them, they don't take a decision just standing on their feet. So it would be unfair to say that we have taken longer. We needed to make sure that we secure the national interest. We're much more comfortable going into AGOA now that we have done all the basic fundamentals moving forward.
Simple. We've run out of time, but I want to ask you a simple question. Our big question this morning is about unused mines and what do we do with them? We're doing a broadcast from Klerksdorp. Maybe just your sense, what do we do with the unused mines in South Africa? Well,
there's a lot that can be done. If you look into other economies, you know, they are turned into tourism space, but I believe that many of the unused mines, there are a lot of economic activities that can still take place, but they get hijacked by illegal miners, and I think that as a community we'll have to protect our mines and ensure that they are used properly for the benefit of those that are around. But also, I think the mining rehabilitation because you also can make that land available for even community use. I think there's a lot of things that can be done. We must not just abandon mines without doing anything, and would call upon South Africans to also report some of the mines that are no longer working so that they can either be closed or they can be utilized for other economic benefits.
Deputy Minister, we're going to leave it there, but thank you very much for talking to us. Deputy Minister in the DTI, Mr. Mzwandile Masina, talking to us about the Black Industrialists Policy, which forms part of IPAP. Now, of course, the policy is in line with the National Development Plan and, of course, the 9-point plan announced by President Zuma in 2015. He also weighed in our big topic discussion today. What do we do with the unused mine? And some interesting ideas coming from the Deputy Minister. We take an ad break. You don't go anywhere.